Mr. Mitty's wife had been yelling at him again, telling him to go and get her the hat that she had imported from Africa, from the post office. And he needed a breath of fresh air. He liked walking through the town, with birds chirping in the trees, and a slight breeze blowing down the road. He enjoyed seeing all the new signs going up, though one caught his attention, a billboard for movies, advertising a movie called Paratrooper. Dreamseek. 5,000 feet in the air. Lieutenant Colonel Mitty is strapping on his parachute. You know you don't have to do this alone, right? He glanced back at the rear of the empty troop carrier and at the stony calm man, who was his only passenger, wondering how he could manage to stay calm in the face of this impossible mission. Co-pilot, you could try to convince the general to let you take other soldiers with you if he could listen to anyone. It'd be the Star Troop of the most decorated company in the army. The pilot started to speed up the plane so they could pass the German air patrols swiftly. Mitty, I'm as good as an entire troop of soldiers, and anyone else coming along will get in the way and slow me down. Without another word, Mitty finished his check of his parachute and stood waiting for the drop zone. Pilot, we will be closing in on the target area in about 10 minutes and counting. Co-pilot, on my mark, 30, 15, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, jump. Narrated. Mr. Mitty jumped from the plane and into the street traffic. Mr. Mitty, staring into his case, jumped forward. As the semi-truck is coming along, the driver, after briefly looking down to fiddle with his radio, looked up and in a split-second reaction, swerves not to hit Mr. Mitty and goes into a nearby Boy Scout pumpkin sale. Pumpkins, pulverized pumpkins go in every which way as the huge truck runs them over, with Boy Scouts jumping out of the way and running in every direction. Blissfully unaware of what happened to him, Mr. Mitty wakes at the sound of pumpkins smashing. He whips his head around, looking shocked. What has happened here? And as Matt scrambles to get away, no one answers him, so he shakes his head and walks away. After a little bit, Mitty looks down to find a pumpkin and picks it up. What luck! And just in time for Halloween, too. Later at home, Mr. Mitty, honey, I'm home. Mrs. Mitty comes into the room, looking expectantly at him. Seeing her, he held out the pumpkin. She looks at the pumpkin and he glares at him. What is this? I told you to go and get my imported hat from the post office. Not to mention the fact that instead you come home with a pumpkin. As she finally stopped shouting, she threw down the pumpkin with a curse blast. Why don't you do anything I ask? Why are you distracted? Are you that distracted all the time, not to pay any attention to what I ask? Things close in.